couldn't get any.
My bad.
No, we're good. What is going on, Vikings fans? Thank you so much for joining. I know this is a difficult time to be a Vikings fan. The season is an absolute dumpster fire. Lots of reasons why. We're going to talk about a majority, if not all of those reasons tonight. But I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, this was just, we thought that Packer game was embarrassing, and this was just another level, completely shut out. First time in almost 20 years that this team has been completely shut out. Just absolute ineptitude on the offense. I mean, the defense played their hearts out, kept us in this game. And then I don't know, man, just this offense, for whatever reason, has struggled. Multiple reasons why. Obviously, we'll get into we already seeing some of the comments about the things that we are going to get into, which does involve some Kevin O'Connell talk. And I got a lot of things to say on that front, honestly. But because what's the old saying? Something about takes a big man to admit he's wrong and a bigger man to apologize to people. Like, there's some people I do need give some apologies for. Because I guess we'll get into it. We'll get into it. But I guess we obviously had to hop on Bleacher Report after the game, so we already got a lot of thoughts out. Plus, we recorded a video for Bleacher right before this, kind of getting into some of this stuff. But I mean, man, that offensive performance, and look, behind the arm of rookie undrafted quarterback Max Brosmer, and that's part of the reason. Like, I hate to have to pin the blame on these young quarterbacks. That's what's the easiest to do because they're out there on the field. But there's so many reasons why these young quarterbacks just aren't playing well right now. And yes, some of it is them, but there's a lot going on around these guys that is just leading to just ineptitude on offense.
Yeah, I do think, obviously, like, I'm not a Carson Wentz guy. I was hoping more from JJ McCarthy. I think everybody was hoping more from Max Brosmer. But at the same time, I'm like, I mean, you're getting like two of the worst performances, even for an undrafted guy and even for a first-year starter and JJ McCarthy, but then including, a veteran guy like Carson Wentz. And it's just like, at what point do you point fingers other places than just the quarterback position? I think we're in a good spot right now to do that, and we're going to get into that in a little bit here. But yeah, no, like you were about to say before I interrupted you with our intro, it is funny is because it didn't seem like it could get any worse, and now it is. And I have bros on here. I have Brosmer, McCarthy. We're gonna probably clump a lot of this stuff in, but that's the one thing, and a topic that I think we should get into right away is just like we thought it couldn't get worse. Now it is, and now it seems like JJ McCarthy's probably. It's funny how it takes 1 week. Now JJ McCarthy's like the most obvious plan moving forward. There isn't another plan. That's the only plan you have. So we'll get into more of that, but let me do some shout outs here. Our guy Gary in the building right away. What the fuck do you want me to say? We suck this year, and KOC is losing the locker room. Definitely seems to be that way. My cousin Garrett, what's going on, dude? Welcome in. Nick, so we still on the same fucking bullshit about the firing of cocksucker KOC. That's crazy. Big Raylan, my dude, welcome in. Y'all starting to see the light. This team is cooked for. So this is the kind of stuff like I don't agree. I do not agree with a lot of this. Because I've heard this before. I've heard this during the Dobbs Cousins year, the 4 quarterback carousel year. Everybody was saying the same shit. And also in the next year, we're 14 wins. So I think this team is still built as long as you make the right decisions. And, you can say fire KOC because if I was going to say, and we have a lot of draft picks, I think we have enough talent on this team moving forward that I 100% believe that is possible for a bounce back next year. And I just don't see reasons why I shouldn't think that. Because this isn't the first time in the NFL where you've seen a team just do this, and then we've literally seen it with the same coach and everything. So I don't really believe that. And then on Kevin O'Connell front, and I guess I'll just hit that real quick. And I know because Casey, I know he's going to want to tap on that a lot later, but with Kevin O'Connell too, like even him, I think a lot of this stuff does have to be blamed on him, but I still I would not doubt. Like, I don't think Kevin O'Connell's a bad coach. I think this situation, I think the situation that he has with these young quarterbacks and the way he's dealing with it is bad. I don't think that's good. I think he should figure out how to change it, whatever. Overall, though, I don't think he's a bad coach. And you've said this many times, if we were to fire him, I guarantee you he'd be the first coach, not even a question, off the board. And I would not be surprised if he goes and is successful everywhere else. He's shown enough success to my eyes to be like, this isn't just how he is all the time or whatever. So I don't know. A lot of that stuff I do disagree with, whether or not he's doing good right now or whatever. It doesn't even matter because Kevin O'Connell is not going to get fired. But we'll dig into that even more in a bit here. But
yeah, because when we talk about offensive struggles later on, we'll get really deep into it. But one thing that I will say, and I think this was it was Norse who had mentioned this months ago, and I kind of just like, whatever, I'm not like, whatever, can't really talk about that, whatever. But I will say the one thing is, I think, and I know we kind of had a disagreement on this before this, and again, we'll get into this more in the weeds or deeper into this when we talk about the offensive struggles. Hey, there he is, Norris. Perfect. I'm glad you're here because I was going to bring this out. Because from what Norris said, I mean, I do think that there is a little bit of ego here. Like, I do think there is a part of him that thinks, I don't care who the quarterback is. And again, the quarterback whisper thing off the side, whatever. Like, I do think that I can take any quarterback and plug them into my offense, and this offense can be successful, and I don't care who's out there. Mm-hmm. What we're seeing was, I guess we can just kind of get into the Brosmer and JJ McCarthy stuff here. I think what we're seeing is that is just not the case. Like, you have two quarterbacks who are just and that's the other thing. Like, you came into training camp with JJ McCarthy, Sam Howell, Max Brosmer, three quarterbacks who weren't NFL ready. Like, Max Brosmer, look, love the guy. Gopher. I think he has a chance to be a long-term backup quarterback in this league.
Still.
But he had no reason fathomable that Max Brosmer should have seen the field this season. Put John Wolford out there, man. I don't care. Like, there is, in that scenario, down two offensive linemen on the road in Seattle against one of the best defenses in the league, zero reason Max Brosmer should be seeing the field in an NFL game this season. Like, ridiculous. And I just think there's a whole bunch of it where he's just like, yeah, we'll make this work. We'll put him into my offense and they'll figure out a way. Well, guess what? It ain't working. So this is now, at this point, it's up to you to, and that's been one of the main concerns about KOC, the inability to adjust his offense around his quarterback play. Because this offense is just fine when you're rolling out a veteran who can deal with this stuff, but now you're putting in these young guys who just aren't NFL ready right now. And I get it. You still want to get JJ McCarthy the reps. I understand that. But I just think there's a point here where it's just a little bit ridiculous that you're just trying to plug and play these quarterbacks into a spot and you're just not adjusting to their skill sets. And this is the first time that I did hear him. This is like the most open I've heard him in these press conferences, basically saying like, oh, the 4th and 1 call, bad play by me, bad play call, got to do better. Maybe I need to simplify things a little bit more. I really hope he's actually saying that to be real and actually does change things. Because if you're gonna put JJ McCarthy back out there, which I think you should, I don't care about the mechanics anymore. Get him confident again. Work on the mechanics in the offseason. But for right now, you need to put your quarterbacks in a better spot. Knowing what you have along that offensive line, whatever. Like, you need to put your quarterbacks in a better spot. So I think that's the one thing. Like, I can't sit here and blame McCarthy and Brosmer completely, because I just think that they're putting him just in, that he's not putting them in the best positions to A, grow in the NFL, or B, succeed in general this season. And that's a big reason why we're losing. And I don't love the other, like, every other year we're good thing, because that just means that, great, you're good with a 4th place schedule, but when you get to a 1st place schedule, you can't match up against the best. So that is the one argument I have to the every other season thing. Like, that's not great. Like, it's not really a great argument because you're not playing the best of competition. Like, still, you're like, again, we still beat the Packers twice last year, so you're still beating teams within your division, and I get that. But I don't know. I just think that I do believe that there is a tad bit of ego there, basically thinking like, I can just plug these quarterbacks in and make it work. So, I mean, whatever the reason is, maybe that's the point. Just, saying it to save his own ass. I get that. But I really, really hope that he's honest about it, because something needs to change. Because, otherwise people are going to lose their jobs. And that's kind of the way. Someone should lose their job already. Like, Chris Cooper should have been fired yesterday just for fun. Right. But I don't know. I just don't. And look, again, love O'Connell. Think he's a great leader of men. Think he's a great coach. Offensive play caller. I am starting to have my doubts and questions about that. And I think it's fair to say, because the offense just this. I don't know. Like it's the inability to put your young quarterbacks in a position where they can succeed right now, and I don't know. It's frustrating, and there's again, and it's not all on him. It's not all on the quarterback. It's a mixture of things. You can even look at Kwesi and the people that he brought into this. He's spending all that money, and it's not helping right now. So I don't know. A lot of reasons, but it's hard to sit here and put it all on the shoulders of McCarthy and Brosmer.
Yeah. Yeah. And I agree at this point that I do think he's not handling these young quarterbacks right. I know as far as even, I don't know how it goes. I'm not a coach. I'm not a quarterback coach. I'm not none of those things. But I mean, for a guy like McCarthy to come in and I'm like, is the best route to have him come in and completely change everything from him? That's seems maybe, I don't know, but that seems kind of tough. Like it's going to take time. If someone's been playing, just like how JJ McCarthy did say it, whether he should have said it in front of people or not, it is totally true. Like it's a big work. If you played one way your whole life and then you come in and completely change every aspect of someone's mechanics instead of, let's say, like work on footwork or work on one thing at a time or whatever, because that's one thing too about Kevin O'Connell that I think is really interesting looking back at some of these JJ McCarthy games is when it came to the Packers, starting with the Bears game, or I'm trying to think, was it the Bears game or was it the Ravens game? I think it was the Bears game where he didn't leave the pocket a single time that entire game. Is that JJ McCarthy being afraid now, or is that Kevin O'Connell trying to keep him in the pocket? Like, is Kevin O'Connell, it almost like it was a big jump from JJ McCarthy going out there trying to do his thing, escape the pocket, throw on the run, even though he was missing, to like all of a sudden he isn't leaving the pocket the entire time. So it's like, is that Kevin O'Connell kind of trying to add training wheels to him and trying to keep him in the pocket so he's not trying to like make mistakes by run? I don't even know. It seems like maybe that is what happened, and even all the way to that Packers game where it's just like, I don't know, is Kevin O'Connell trying to simplify things, but instead it's making him think even more type of, I don't know. It's just a really weird jump from like the Lions game to the Ravens game, obviously missing passes, to like, it was obvious that JJ McCarthy, whether he's making passes or not, was not playing the way he generally would want to play.
Right. And again, and if it is O'Connell trying to simplify it to that extent, then that just goes even farther to show you that he does not know how to put a young quarterback into an offense or mold an offense around them. Because it's like, that's not the answer here. Trying to get him just to play from the pot, it's just not, I don't know. It's, if that is truly the case, then it just goes to show you again, like, it's just the guy just, as of right now, he has not shown that he can adjust to, and again, I think this is all just like, I do think there's that bit of ego there where it's like, I will make whatever quarterback work in this offense. So, but you need to start seeing some things happen differently. And when you go back to just like the whole making him fix his mechanic things, like, that's the problem when you and quarterbacks get overdrafted, right? But, and that's where they found themselves. Like, we draft this guy in the top 10 and they had, again, you had to have known, they pulled the wool over all of our eyes thinking that we can pass on everybody else because this guy's gonna be ready to go this year. Obviously, there's no chance that they did not think he had to work on his mechanics like this. There's no chance that they did not know that, right? Mm-hmm. So they kind of pull the wool over Vikings fans' eyes, like, don't worry, we're going to be just fine. And then you come out here after you get your extensions, and this is the shit you put out on the table with this quarterback play. And I get it. It's the NFL. You draft a quarterback high, you got to play him. That's why I didn't think Anthony Richardson. And that's right. Should have been a number 3 pick, because you get drafted top end of the first round. You got it. You need to develop quicker than other there. And I don't think that's fair to these young quarterbacks, right? Because like Anthony Richardson, I said that going into that draft, this guy should not be drafted top 5, because guess what? He has a lot of work to do. You know what they did? They put him out there right away. We'll learn on the fly. That's not how you do it. And I get it. Like they were put in a bad spot, but also you kind of made that bed yourself by taking a guy who needed work that high in the draft. And like it's insulting to your fan base when you put these quarterbacks out there who just aren't ready to play in the NFL. That's kind of where I'm at with especially McCarthy here. And again, a large share of that does need to go to O'Connell, just because, like, again, you had us, not all of us, you had us believing for sure. You had a lot of Vikings fans believing, don't worry, this guy's going to be just fine in my offense. And it's just not the case. And again, I brought it up. I brought it up on Bleacher Report on Sunday. Like, watch the Kurt Warner video. Watch the Kurt Warner breakdown of that Packer game, and you'll see a lot of these issues that he's just not putting these quarterbacks in a good spot to succeed.
Yeah, especially when your offensive line is getting blown up,
leading to a 4-8 record, and now we're talking all about mechanics. Like, well, this should have been worked on. And I get you couldn't you couldn't really work on it with the injuries, but if he mechanically wasn't ready just to go out there and play football, then why was he starting this year anyway? And I get it, the pressure of starting a top draft pick. But guess what? Like, knowing this is the case, hindsight's 2020, of course, but knowing this is the case, they put themselves in a bad spot. But it's there's really nobody to blame but the front office and the decision makers about the quarterback position. That's the only people you have to blame here, because these players, I find it so hard to sit here and blame McCarthy and Brosmer for what we're seeing out there. So
not completely. Obviously, they are the quarterbacks, and I mean, it's just straight up they haven't been playing well. As far as like the offensive struggles, which we'll let me just tap in on these guys real quick, because Brosmer, I just want to hit on it. Obviously, we were all excited to see him. Hopeful. That's the guy's hopeful. I've seen everybody in here was hopeful about Brosmer. Even the people who I don't even know. Even the people that are against JJ McCarthy was like, oh, Brosmer, though, maybe, whatever. I don't know. We were hopeful. Comes in. He's an undrafted rookie. He played like an undrafted rookie. Those are the things to expect. All of us were hoping to see better. That wasn't the case. He was seeing ghosts towards the end of that game for sure, which brings me to, obviously, now it's back onto the JJ McCarthy train again, whether that is the smart thing or not, which does scare me, because I don't care if you've been playing bad and you're missing throws. I get, as long as you're out there playing your game and you're not looking afraid, at least, and then hopefully we can see some progress off of that. At least you're not playing scared. Playing scared is what makes me afraid the most. So like you said, that's the one bad thing I think with playing JJ McCarthy or Max Brosmer. The worst thing that could happen is you destroy their confidence on the field. They feel like they suck, whatever. And that is going to be the case with JJ McCarthy moving forward. And that's why I'm like, you can't really fuck up. You can't fuck with the new mechanics. Well, one thing, once you start that, it's not something you can pull back from, first off. Secondly, you probably shouldn't if you are trying to turn him into a good quarterback, whatever. But that's the biggest thing, is since we are going to roll with JJ McCarthy, I don't know how you do it, but you need him to play confident. He needs to look confident at the very least. Miss throws, whatever, but he can't look what he did in that Packers game where he was throwing so short. He was passing up wide open Justin Jefferson because he didn't want to get picked. All those type of things we cannot see with JJ McCarthy moving forward, and that's what we're going to be dealing with. And obviously, we know we're out of playoffs and all that stuff at this point, so it's really, really about seeing if there's anything that we have in JJ McCarthy.
Well, and I think the one thing that, I saw Nick mentioned it earlier, and that needs to be the part that's got to be talked about as well, is we're going to need to see significant improvement.
Hey, what up, dude?
What's up, dude? Or a plan for improvement from a quarterback before this guy right here, who I give him all the credit in the world. He has been very professional as possible through all of this. He hasn't been pulled. The first diva receiver move was not talking to the media yesterday, which I understand, because he's going to say the same shit over and over again, and I get that. But eventually, if we don't have a clear-cut plan at quarterback, or if we do fire everybody and start over, Justin Jefferson won't be here very long. I don't think he's going to be requesting a trade yet, but you saw the dejection yesterday. That's the first time I think yesterday was the first time I think he's shown visibly on the sidelines, what actually am I doing here, right? So I don't know. I think that's the thing that scares me the most. And everyone talks about patience with the young quarterback. Well, if we don't start showing something going into next season, Jefferson will ask for his way out, and at that point, who can really blame him? Because the entire offense is completely just freaking, it's broken right now, and it's top down. We've been saying that for weeks. It's personnel. It's the players you signed and the inability to draft players to back them up when you need them. And we're seeing that hit. It's taking the players that you do have and putting them in situations to succeed, which a coaching staff is not doing. And then when they are in good spots and there is an open throw, either we're missing the throw or someone's dropping the ball or we're turning it over. So I don't know. It's just, it's a top-down issue with this offense, but there's so many different things you can point at. But at the end of the day, the front office gets you players to put on the field and put in the best situations. And for whatever reason, coaching and player performance, we just haven't gotten there yet. And this defense, and again, I've given Flores a ton of shit all year long, since going into the last couple of years. But that defense has been elite against some damn good offenses the last couple of weeks and held on for as long as they could until time of possession got out of hand. They got too tired out there and they started giving up some points. So this defense has kept us in a good spot, and we've been unable to make anything happen on offense. And again, going into that, like coming into the season, there's a word for it. I don't have the word. But it's a travesty that we came into this season with 3 quarterbacks who were not ready to play in the NFL. I mean, yes, you traded for Wentz before, right, like a week before the season started, but just going into training camp with McCarthy, Brosmer, and what's his name? Guy we got from Seattle. What's his name?
Sam Howell.
Sam Howell it's malpractice. That's the word. It's general managing malpractice to have those 3 quarterbacks on your roster coming into the season. So
yeah,
I don't know. It's a top-down absolute disaster. And I mean, but at the end of the day, like the most eyes are going to be on Kevin O'Connell and the quarterback. So they have 5 weeks to change people's mind. But right now, there's not going to be a single fan with any hope going into next year if we don't see something happen soon. And that's going to come down to McCarthy and Kevin O'Connell and getting a better game plan together. And to me, that mainly comes down to Kevin O'Connell. Like, again, like I said, you're square peg round holing these young quarterbacks. You're trying to put them into your offense. And guess what? For whatever reason, offensive line, injuries, whatever, everyone deals with them. Offensive line and just quarterback play and just route running and how they're running the offense, something just is not working. And that all comes back to coaching and putting your players in the best spot, which we're just not doing. So
yeah. No, man, it's tough. I don't know. I'm going to be on my own island here, and I know I am, but this isn't the first time I've done it. And that's like, and I disagree. I've said this earlier in the beginning. This ain't a rebuild team. You're kidding yourself. If you think Kevin O'Connell's going to get fired, you're kidding yourself. Whether you like him or not, he isn't going anywhere. Tell me one coach ever who won coach of the year, 14 wins, comes back the next year.
Well, like it takes fired.
I know, not you. Not you. I'm talking about other people. And then the way the defense is playing, I just don't see it. Like Kevin O'Connell's not going to go anywhere. Kwesi maybe, because at this point, without this talent working out, and you go into this, you're really banking on this draft class, I think, a lot. And that's why I don't think we're not in a rebuild, because the main thing is Kevin O'Connell and Kwesi. I'll stick to this, and I'll say this a million times. Everything is about the next 2 years. It is. And they're not going to rebuild. A rebuild will get them fired. They're not going to do that. They have to go try to win a championship. They don't got a choice. Whether you think it's possible or not, they have to do it, in my opinion anyways. That's exactly what I think is going to happen.
I mean, this is a good point, though. If Kwesi does go, a lot of times you do see it. You do see a GM come in. They want their own head coach and quarterback. But also, I do think that O'Connell's respected enough to where a GM would come in and be like, I think we got a good coach here. We just need whatever. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
Apples and oranges. And you're right. And yeah, you usually do see that. But it is kind of a different situation with Kevin O'Connell. I would say he is highly respected. He's one of the most highly respected to other coaches. Honestly, like you go ask every single fan will be like, Kevin O'Connell's trash. He needs to be fired. You go ask actual coaches. I bet you they would come back and be like, he's one of the better coaches in the NFL or whatever. Like, I bet you they would. And even other teams' coaches, even other teams' fans say Kevin O'Connell's a good coach and things like that. So, and obviously, I mean, I think he's definitely at fault for a lot of what's going on right now with the quarterback position, whatever. But he's not going to get fired. There's just no way. I've never seen anything like that before. It's not going to happen. There's no way. And we're also not going to rebuild. That's crazy. Everything has been built around these next few years. And even if it comes down to your quarterback's not good enough, then they're going to have to figure that out one way or another. Next year, if things don't work, I think like this year is going to be they're even if we just completely suck, they're going to get a pass this year, I think. And then going into next year, that pass is gone. Next year, if this team, it looks anything the way it is right now, I think I think a lot of things will happen then, but I do not see it happening this year because I just still don't think we're supposed to be way better than we were. But I'll say it a million times. Our expectations was not championship this year. It just wasn't. Our expectations was to be much better than it was right now, but not to the point where you're seeing Kevin O'Connell getting fired, maybe Kwesi, but I doubt you see Kwesi get fired.
But I think though but I do think that a lot of people thought this season wasn't going to be as bad because I do think I do think that there was a bit of, again, pulling the wool over the fans' eyes, basically thinking like, don't worry, like we're passing on Darnold, we're passing on Daniel Jones, we're passing on Aaron Rodgers because JJ McCarthy can come in and run this offense efficiently and win us some games. I don't 100% think that I think that there was a little bit of, it's going to take some time and maybe like, yeah, the season might not be
basically the way we thought.
So I do think that there was a little bit of that with this. And I will say this, if things don't get, and again, you know me, Kevin O'Connell guy, if things don't get significantly better by the end of the year, I could see him entering next season on the hot seat where there's rumors like there's a short leash to where if this team doesn't show any improvement, they might pull that trigger and move on. Because I mean, look, let's be real. This is embarrassing. Like, again, like Nick said, shut out for the first time in 18 years. Embarrassed against the Packers. The offense is unable to move the football. Like, that's embarrassing. Like, that's a whole, like, that is a low I never even fathomed would be possible this year. So I don't know. I think it's a lot worse. I mean, there's, again, like I said, even the most like staunch JJ McCarthy hater could not have seen this offense being this inept.
Well, they're literally the worst offense. I mean, I feel like I probably even said that I know for a fact that I said multiple times probably that I could go play quarterback with this offense and succeed. Obviously, I was lying. And obviously, I'd been really wrong. No, but that's the thing. It's terrible. No one expected us to have like the worst offense with the amount of talent that is on this offense. Yeah, and that obviously is definitely it has to start with Kevin O'Connell.
Right. And that's the thing. And it's not even just advancement from McCarthy. It's advancement from him and his play calling. Because it's not like I think I was listening to my Michael Mussman. He does the pregame show and stuff, and he's on the Fan every a couple times a week. And he said the same thing. He's like, I'm tired of hearing about the explosives. Like, put your quarterback out there in an offense he can operate, and then work on everything. Like I've said, work on everything else in the offseason and go into next season hopefully with at least him playing confidently. So the fan base by the end of the year isn't out here like, oh God, we're going with McCarthy again. At least there's something for the fan base look forward to next year. Because if there's none of that, because look, the owners, like, yeah, like coaches, players don't listen to the fan base, but owners will. And if the fan base is completely fed up with everything going on, like that leash is going to be incredibly short.
Right. At the end of the day, though, it's just the fan. Like, hey, I'm a fan, but at the end of the day, they're not catering to the fans, except for Kwesi and the Thielen trade. So thanks a lot, fans. We told you not to go anything less than a 6th-round pick for Adam Thielen, but the fans did it. And that's through. If it was the fans that did make Kwesi ultimately make that trade, that would be wild. But if you're a GM, you do not make decisions because the fans want what the fans want. I don't think the front office, obviously you need to sell stuff, whatever, I get it. Sure. But at the end of the day, I don't think the front office is making all their decisions on based whether or not the fans are going to be happy or not. So that's why I don't think the front office, you can say what you want. They're probably disappointed in the way the season's going, but I don't think they're going to do anything with Kevin O'Connell. Maybe the draft pick thing is becoming a big deal with Kwesi. Maybe something there. I don't even know. And I do think that's a good possibility that Kevin O'Connell, if the season doesn't do, if this offense continues to look like this for the rest of the season, I could see him definitely being on the hot seat. But at the same time, you know, you're seeing like Dayball. Like, I mean, he had that one playoff win, and then the Giants have been completely asked for him for how many, like 3 seasons later, and it took that long before he got fired. Like, it takes a long time for a head coach to get fired, especially one who's won like coach of the year and stuff. And also has bounced back. I don't know, in my opinion. So I don't think you're going to see him going. And I also think Kevin O'Connell's good enough to bounce back. I don't either,
but I think there's going to be a ton of noise going.
There's going to be a ton of noise from fans.
No, I think there's going to be a ton of. I mean, come on. Like you're telling me if we don't win another game, we go into the offseason 4-13. You don't think that there's going to be anyone in the media talking about, the Vikings are really looking at what they're doing. Like they need to see significant improvement starting next year. Otherwise changes will be made. You don't think that's going to be a conversational piece? Because I sure do.
I think they will, because
you can't go from what we had last year to winning 4 games and not expect there to be
obviously there's more games left.
Especially
I think there'll be talks of for sure. There's going to be talks, but I don't think it's going to be as hot as you think. And a lot of people think it's easy to say that right now after the way this stretch has gone with JJ McCarthy and Brosmer and things like that. It's easy. I mean, how many times have I heard fans feel this way about a team at this specific spot and wanting to fire everybody, or a player does good and wanting to pay him all the money in the world when that would have been a mistake. Like the fan thing is up and down, up and down, up and down all the time. It's emotion. Everybody goes off. Oh, we're doing bad. Fire everybody. We're doing good. Extend everybody. That's how it always is. And I'm going to sit here for the 3rd or 4th time and not and try to stay even level-headed and just say that I don't think I know Kevin O'Connell's not going to get fired. Not this year. He could be on the hot seat next year, whatever, if this continues to go down. I also think Kevin O'Connell, I have not been impressed with the way he's coached this year, how he's handling the quarterback position. I do think he's a good head coach. And I do think I would not, and I could be wrong, he's going to be here next year. I would not be surprised that this Vikings team, if they do figure something out with whether it's the progression of JJ McCarthy, whether it's they go out and find a vet or Kyle, I know people talking about Kyler Murray, but go find a vet to go up against JJ McCarthy in the offseason, whatever. I do think that this team has enough talent on it that they can bounce back next year in a similar fashion we did after that whole quarterback carousel type of season. I definitely think it's possible. And that's why I'm like, this is not it's not a rebuild. There's no way you're not rebuilding. If they rebuild, people should be getting fired, because if there's one thing for sure that I know the Wilfs was in their ears, it's definitely the whole building a roster around or a quarterback on a rookie contract. And I think that's where the time's going to be running out. And I do think that really, I've said a million times, I think that officially starts next year. And I think the hot seat season really starts next year.
Yeah. I mean, either way, the rest of the season, we need to see something. We need to see some semblance of improvement, because I mean, it's going to be McCarthy the rest of the way unless he gets hurt again, of course. But I mean, at the end of the day, we just need to see some semblance of growth from the coach and the quarterback and the offense, because the defense is out there doing everything they can. But
going back to the Lions game last year, what do you mean? The second Lions game? I mean, it hasn't been good since we've lost. I mean, it hasn't been good. I mean, it's easy to say it hasn't been good since we lost to the Lions and then the Rams and all those kinds of things. I can tell you good games, the Packers game. I can tell you definitely good games that were called well and things like that outside of that last year. That's the thing, is like, hey, I don't know. We'll see what happens. But as far as I think, like, Kevin O'Connell's just not going to get fired. He's not. I've never seen it. It'd be the first time I think anybody had ever seen a guy go from one year to the next and then get fired after being coach of the year.
I mean, I think
especially on a year where it wasn't about making a championship. Like this year wasn't about that. Obviously, it was about a lot more than what we got. I don't see it happening. I've never seen it before. Just like the Dan Campbell thing. I never seen a coach get fired who makes it to playoffs. I mean, look at freaking Shanahan with the 49ers. If there's one, happened to Lovie
Smith once. He won 10 games with the Bears. Maybe they missed the playoffs that year. That might have been the year they missed it. I don't know.
But that's why I don't know. So we'll see what happens. But I don't see the Kevin O'Connell thing. I don't know. So I like the best thing that we can try. I'm hoping that Kevin O'Connell can, if it's an ego thing, let go of his ego and put these quarterbacks in better situation. Because like the worst thing I want for myself is to get to the end of the season and feel the way all you guys feel about Kevin O'Connell, and then knowing that he isn't going to get fired. I don't even know what would happen for him. At this point, it can't get, I don't know. I guess it can get lower. I can't even say it can't get any worse, because it definitely can, but
yeah, I don't know. It is what it is, but it's frustrating. I mean, and like you do got to go back and wonder about the quarterback, like quarterback selection process, I guess, this last year. Like, again, I just think there's something just odd that, like, they had to have known that McCarthy wasn't ready to play in the NFL yet. Like, they had to have known.
I think the biggest part on that for me is just how long it takes for someone to learn new mechanics.
Yeah, like, but again, going into the season, you had to have known that his
that's what I'm saying.
Are yet.
Yeah, and you should have known it took.
I think they felt the pressure from whether it be the fans, whether it be the front office, probably the front office. Like, they felt the pressure to get this kid out there when he wasn't ready. And that's the unfortunate part about playing quarterback in the NFL. And that's the unfortunate part about the way we're doing it. Like, because we're, again, trying to be competitive while bringing in a new quarterback. And that's hard to do when you have a guy like Justin Jefferson, because obviously you're not going to tank.
Cool.
So, like, I don't know. That's the tough part. And so that's why I feel like there was that pressure from whoever to put him out on the field when he just wasn't ready. And unfortunately, like, that's the nature of the NFL. If you're going to take a quarterback high in the first round, you're going to be pushed to put him out there too soon. And that's the unfortunate part about growing quarterbacks. But it goes against what O'Connell said. Like, I feel like going back to the whole, I feel like young quarterback or organizations fail young quarterbacks before it's the other way around. Like, and that's what everybody's brought that up this year. Like, you are failing JJ McCarthy with the way that you guys handled this whole thing. Because yes, would there have been some scratch in their heads? Like, okay, you brought back Daniel Jones for another year when you have McCarthy. Why? Was he not ready? Was it a bad draft pick? Sometimes you got to be like, you know what? We just think he needs another year of seasoning before we put him out there. Like, it's a tough decision to make. But seeing where we're at now, the way that the whole thing went down is still just like, I don't know. It's wild that they did not foresee him playing this poorly.
That's the thing with McCarthy.
Is O'Connell, can he develop? Can he adjust and structure an offense around his quarterback? He has not shown the ability to do that yet. And again, that's why there's so much what we're seeing in the comments here, what you're seeing everywhere else. It is hard for me to do this. It really is. But that's why you're seeing a whole lot of the blame now being put on O'Connell. Because, like, the rumors were out there. He was the one driving the quarterback decision. Right.
Yeah. So that's a hard thing with me and JJ McCarthy is all right. So at this point, you're just, I don't even know what to say because his loss of confidence is what hit me. But prior to the Bears game, I thought it was totally fine. I thought he was in a spot where he's playing his game. Yeah, he's missing throws, whatever. He's not playing good overall. He's still stepping up sometimes when it really matters. And that was all fine. I'm like, okay, just continue giving him his reps. I just think for him, it wasn't the fact that he might have not still been ready, but I'm like, I think the reps are what's good for him. It was just the Bears game for most of it, and then the Packers game where it seems like his confidence was shot or whatever. Like that's where I'm like, Kevin O'Connell failed him at this point. Is he got him to a spot, and maybe it's not just on Kevin. Well, Kevin O'Connell's the coach, but I think even just all the noise, like JJ McCarthy, some of it can be on him if he's out there reading what people are. It's hard to miss, but reading what people are saying, because I don't like you got to be a stone cold motherfucker to see the memes of you out there and not be like, and not let it bother you at all. And I mean, people attacking JJ McCarthy and people always say, "Oh, you're a Viking fan," though. I'm like, people are attacking JJ McCarthy like that's probably never been seen for a young. I mean, come on, everybody's putting his face on other quarterbacks' faces on his body type of situation here. So that is kind of tough here, and that's the thing that it gets me is just the confidence thing with JJ McCarthy, and that's what you kind of mentioned before. JJ McCarthy. It's just like he's going to be the guy moving forward. And at this point, mechanics, whatever, obviously, like, I don't want you to get rid of the mechanics, but you got to make sure this kid's confident. You have to make sure he's confident. That's priority number one.
And that's the winning formula. And again, that's where it comes down to O'Connell. Put him in an offense where he can just play football freely. And then anything else you have to do in the offseason to get him to get his mechanics in line, you do it in the offseason. But you just you have to find a way to build some confidence going into the end of this year.
Yeah, that's priority number one.
Yeah, because if you don't, next season is going to be a short leash season for everybody.
Right.
And then at that point, you're looking at Justin Jefferson. If Justin Jefferson comes into a season where he just feels that tension, he knows like things are about to go poorly, like he's going to be in the ear of people wanting trades early.
Yeah. So, and I don't think it's not going to be this season. It's not going to be this off season. This blow up shit will be, if this looks like this next season, this is a whole different story. I think, in my opinion, obviously Justin Jefferson could continue getting irritated. I think if he doesn't hit his 1,000 yards, I think at this point he's probably like, just get me my 1,000 yards at least. because I don't want to go to season without 1,000 yards.
Yeah, and I do think this is fair because again, you can't go into the season with the atrocity we had this year. 2 quarterbacks who weren't ready to play, and Sam Howell, who has played but hasn't proven to be good enough. So like that quarterback room coming into training camp that's embarrassing when you actually think back to that.
Yeah, and that's what is probably going to have to happen. And that's the thing. Like, this team is going to run it back. It's going to run it back. It's going to go into this draft with the most picks we've had in a long time. Should be more if we didn't do the whole Adam Thielen thing, or a better picks at least, which was still crazy that happened. But that's why I think I would not be surprised. And because I agree, I think I'm not out on this team as far as the next couple years. I'm not. It's just there's talent here. There's contracts still available throughout these next handful of years or whatever. And you shouldn't be, because there's not a lot of chances we get to try to be competitive or whatever. And this is the window that we have. And once this window shuts, we're not going to be competitive for a while, probably, especially if we're doing a rebuild thing or whatever.
But I will say, I don't know. I'm kind of in the boat and again, it makes it difficult when it comes to head coaches and stuff.
Yeah.
I would like to see a new GM in here for the draft. I really would.
Or at least someone else making I don't know how that works.
Because here's the thing, when you really think back to this.
Yeah, I know. I feel that too. Honestly.
Like the mentors for Kwesi, right? He brings in Ryan Grigson, who we all know how that went with the Colts, right?
Yeah.
And then his mentor was Andrew Berry.
Yeah.
The guy who pulled off the trade for Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
Like, think about that.
Right.
Like, that's the guy that we're sitting here being like, that's him. Like, that was Kwesi's mentor. The guy who pulled off that trade. It's yeah.
Let me jump back into Kwesi in a second here, because all right, we talked McCarthy's going to be QB1. Brosmer will look like an undrafted free agent, and we need him to be confident. Let me hit on this. Sam Darnold, all the people, I don't care what you say. Like, obviously, Sam Darnold would be better for this team, and we'd won more games. But the fact that Sam Darnold played the team that let him go, and he has a fucking shitty performance that he did, that's the kind of shit I don't want my quarterback. If my quarterback plays his old team, he fucks that team up. So I'm still not on team Sam Darnold unless he goes in playoffs and looks really good. So as far as I go, I'm definitely not still hanging on to the whole we should have kept Sam Darnold situation. Unless I felt confident he was going to take us to the promised land. Anyways, so I'll just sit here. So back to Kwesi real quick, I'm with you at this point, because obviously we stood up for him. I said myself, like, I get it. It's hard to win and build a team, not with your draft picks, but Kevin O'Connell seems to figure out how to do it through free agency. Well, everybody was right as far as you ain't going to be able to do that consistently forever. And this is a great example of that. You overpay some guys who have not stepped up the way that we were hoping that they would, all that kind of stuff. And then again, obviously some of these picks, Will Reichard, insane. A guy that we're going to be talking about here soon. Turner is really turning things around again. No pun intended, but Turner's turning things around, things like that. So there is some picks there, but it is kind of scary, especially after a season like this, when you feel like you to stay competitive. Like, that's why I'm like, everybody else who's like, let's tear it down, I'm like, you don't want to do that. It's hard to build this type of personnel that we have overall on this team going into this draft with some picks and all that kind of things. Obviously, if Kwesi's at helm, you're like, hey, it's a pointless whatever. Yeah. But you should be like, this draft could be enough to make us competitive the way that we want to with how many picks that we have. But that's what you should be hoping for. Yeah, I think you should be wanting to give yourself one more year before you throw this all out, because there still is talent on this team.
Yeah, and obviously Kwesi hasn't shown us he can do that, though, and that's kind of,
and that's what's scary. And I'm with you on that.
And this is the big thing, like kind of the mid quarterback play. Like, yeah, I mean, it was 100% the right move moving on from Darnold, because again, like, he wasn't going to get you there. We just, like, a lot of times, like,
at least I don't think so. I'm not going to say Sam Darnold can't do it, but we'll see what happens. Yeah. But I don't like that he played against us and looked like shit out there.
Yeah, but again, like, a lot of people are just, and that's where, like, they were talking about it on the radio last night after the game, where it's like everyone's talking about, we're wasting Justin Jefferson's career. It's like, well, isn't it by bringing in these quarterbacks that aren't going to win the Super Bowl? and like, yeah, you make it to the playoffs and lose a game right away. Like, isn't that still wasting Justin Jefferson's career, right? Like, the only way to not is to swing for the fences and go for the Super Bowl. But the way that Kwesi's doing it, as we're seeing, the free agency stuff is fun when it works. But when it doesn't, you're seeing the cracks of bad drafting. And I think Purple for the Win always says, like, free agency is a tax on teams that can't draft well. There's a reason that we needed all that money to spend and fill up holes, because we just have not been able to draft good depth pieces. And again, that goes back to Kwesi. And
100%.
I don't know.
I'm assuming it's all Kwesi. Like the pick, like the Felton picks and shit.
Times, the new GM wants to come in and hire their own head coach and then get their own quarterback. So it's going to be a real interesting situation if they do decide to move on from Kwesi. But you just, I mean, if you're going to have a lot of draft picks and you're seeing what hasn't been able to do with building depth, like it's difficult to think that you can let him go into this next draft with all these picks and do it.
Yeah.
Especially knowing his willingness just to make trades, like 4th round picks for 37.
Yeah, he's on the wrong side of trades. And that's one thing I said before too, because that's one of my concerns that I did mention after the Adam Thielen trade is a lot of fans. This is why you don't listen to fans, but a lot of fans, they wanted the nostalgia of bringing Adam Thielen back, even though he's 35. We said it before, we wouldn't trade more than a 6th-round pick. And even that was just us being generous a little bit, because we were like excited as well, but not for a 4th-round swap or whatever we ended up doing at that time. But that's the thing is, if you have a GM, I do not want my GM to be known as the guy that's on the wrong side of every fucking trade he makes. Every single time. And that was my biggest issue with the Adam Thielen thing. And I'm like, we can't. So that's another thing too, is like, I don't know, man. I do think as far as Kwesi goes in the draft thing, I would say, like I said, everything I said about Kevin O'Connell, but the Kwesi thing is making me more nervous, because I do, and I've said it before, and obviously everyone heard me, but I do understand how important it is for this team to be good and bounce back next year. And I personally am hoping that this team can do that. But I do think this draft is one of the most important drafts we've probably have witnessed and maybe in our life for the Vikings. Well, I mean, it's important, and you can't fuck it up. And unfortunately, like I also have a hard time feeling we end up firing Kwesi, but maybe we do. But I am worried about going into the draft with him, and I just don't get it. Like the Felton pick. It was, as soon as that happened in the 3rd round, it just immediately, like, dude, you could have got that guy in the 5th probably. You probably could have. Like, he probably would have lasted that long. So I'm like, I know if it's your guy and you're like, oh, I just need to get him. I don't know. You got to be patient as a GM too. I don't know.
And he's I don't know. He's shown he's shown he's willing to just grab guys because he likes them. So I don't know. It's frustrating, but again, like if you do let him go into this draft with those draft picks, like this, you want to talk about most important draft picks in careers. These would be the most important draft picks in his career. So
yeah,
I don't know.
And you might have a high 1st-round pick at this point. Which
we'll see what happens, but I don't know.
Not to mention your whole thing too is, and just one more thing before we get into a pick that is starting to turn around for Kwesi. And that is, what was I going to say? Now I forget.
What's going on, Dylan?
What's going on? I think the franchise has people in place to replace Kwesi. Unlike KOC, Kwesi is about to be a fall guy for this season.
Yeah, I can see it.
People in place. Yeah, I can see it. Yeah, it could end up being like that. Swear to God, I better not see this man Kwesi doing another draft. I bet, whether I want it or not, I feel like, I could be wrong here. I feel like he is. I feel like he is going to be here. I mean, you just extended him. That doesn't really say enough, maybe. I'm just trying to think of, like, how often have I seen a GM get extended and then fired right after the next season?
Yeah. You said GM, by the way, Musk. We saw you earlier. We know what you said about Childress. We get that, but I don't know. It'll be interesting. I mean, but maybe, like, especially if they see, like, how he completely messed up this season with his free agency signings, it just didn't work out.
Yeah. I mean, I would say that's one that's not possible.
But that goes back to coaching too, how you just let, Bradbury and Ingram go, and now they're 2 of the better interior offensive linemen in the league right now. And
I know.
Here with Will Fry.
Yeah, that kind of shit that's really fucked up. And I don't even know what to say about that. So I don't know. There's a lot of stuff that definitely could be better, obviously. And this draft is going to be a big one here. But going into $300 million in free. Yeah.
I'm going to point with my therapist in the morning. Feel that.
Yeah. Anyways, talking about we'll end on a positive note here. And that is talk about a first round pick who doesn't turn 23 until February. Last 3 games, what is it? I don't know if you have the numbers. 4 sacks, 12 quarterback pressures, 2 forced fumbles. Dallas Turner seems to be breaking out at this point. In my opinion, I said last 3 games. You could have almost said 4 games if he didn't land on Lamar Jackson as far as sacks go, which is huge. So there is a big positive there. If we end up leaving with Kwesi or whatever, and you end up with a premier pass rusher, that would be a big positive moving forward here.
Yeah, I mean, slow start to the season. We weren't seeing the progress that we heard about in training camp right away, but yeah, recently he's came on. I mean, he would have a sack in 4 straight games if it wasn't for the penalty in the Ravens game. But
right,
yeah, I mean, the guy's been the monster that we thought we drafted. I mean, athletic freak. I think he's developing a little bit more just as a pure pass rusher. Still solid in the run game. I mean, he jumped that route again. Was it the Bears? He was able to deflect the pass. So yeah, the guy's been really good. I mean, and he's finally proving to be a first round pick. Now, was he at this point worth all the picks we traded to go get him? Still remains to be seen, but at least he's showing he was worthy of that first round pick overall.
Yeah, so far anyways. Obviously, I want to see more. Even though it's been a really nice 4-game stretch, I want to see more impacts from him before I get too crazy with.
And this is something too that, I mean, I know Alec Lewis kind of hinted at. Like he says, like, I know people want to complain about Kwesi. He's like, but don't forget how much say other people in the building have in decision making on the team. And that's why a lot of people do like to blame literally everybody from the top down, because again, like we know when it comes to defense, Flores has a say. We know when it came to the quarterback position, Kevin O'Connell had a say. We just know he takes a lot of advice from other people. But at the end of the day, you're going to be the fall guy of all this stuff because you're the GM. And if you don't make the right picks or the right signings or what have you, you're going to be the first one on the chopping block.
Well, that was always my
overall for an organization.
That was always my argument for Kwesi, is he always seemed like that guy who if there was one thing that he seemed like he'd be really good, and this is like a straight business Wall Street mindset, is just being able to understand that there's people smarter than you in the room and to take their advice or whatever. You're the one who comes to the ultimate decision, but you take other people who know more than you to come to that decision. Which maybe that's the case, but I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. There's just the picks that seem like what's his name? Caleb Evans, the Mekhi Blackman. Obviously, he's doing all right over there. I don't know how good he's doing over there with the Colts. I saw him make a good pass.
He had to play yesterday.
Yeah, I saw that. But that play, Felton, I already mentioned him. Like some of these guys, it just blows my mind as far as like you overdrafted them, and it was so obvious. Like these are your guys. The ones that I think that's what irritates me is the players that makes it feel like, oh, this is obviously your guy, like because you reached for him, have not worked out, it seems like. So I'm like, that's the part that's annoying, is like not one of them has worked out, and it's always in the 3rd round too.
Yeah. So I don't know, but yeah, luckily the positive note of the day, Dallas Turner is solid. Eric Wilson and Jalen Redmond also continue to play really well too.
Yeah, Eric Wilson's fucking stud.
Yeah, he's probably going to get some decent money this offseason. We'll see, but
it's
not all negative in the world, but
final outlook. Obviously, this season is over as far as playoff goes. Obviously, a lot of the fans are most likely at this point, you wanted playoffs. Everyone's going to be mad every single week. In my opinion, I still think I am not ready to burn everything down. As far I think this team has still things in place to be competitive next year. Obviously, there's a lot of progression we need to see from some players or bringing other players in, whatever. But what I'm looking forward at this one now that it's like officially official that we're not making playoffs is, even though that's a weird thing, is I don't think we're actually out, because the NFC has just been fucking trash everywhere. Like the Bears are the number 1 team right now, maybe in the NFC, which is wild. So there's technically a lot of time. Like the Lions losing, the Eagles are losing, Packers losing, all that stuff. But confidence in JJ McCarthy. He is your quarterback, whether he should be or not the rest of the season. progression in his confidence. Before it was progression in his accuracy. Now we're going down a step and just asking for confidence there. The players like the Dallas Turners, I want to see progress from them. And then at this point, I mean, you're just hoping to see some progress from this offense and to get things rolling to some extent. Yeah, I mean, obviously it's pretty bleak outlook for this time of the year, I guess. But again, I don't know. I still think you hope that JJ McCarthy progresses.
Yeah. But yeah, so I'm like where I'm at the rest of the season. I'm like out on Kwesi. I'm out on Kwesi. I'm scratching my head at Kevin O'Connell as of late, obviously. Right. And the quarterbacks, I have a soft spot for them because I know they're just these young kids. They're out there trying to do their best. But I do think it's with personnel decisions, inability to draft and develop depth, and then just the coaching and putting them in bad spots. I feel like they're being put, and I think Darren said earlier, and obviously we've all been saying it. I just feel like these young quarterbacks are not being put in the best position to succeed and develop properly. And I do think it's a bit of an ego thing with Kevin O'Connell, where it's I really think I can get people to fit into my offense, and eventually you're just gonna have to realize like that ain't the case. And if I want any chance of next year being able to say JJ's my starter and not having to go into a quarterback competition or anything, you're going to have to show me some signs of improvement. That comes from both. That comes from the quarterback, because obviously you're the one out there on the field making the plays, but that comes from the quarterback, the coaching, and all of it. And until we start seeing that, this is going to be the same. These are going to be the conversations we're going to have throughout the rest of the season, into the offseason, the next season. We're
AKA mock draft soon.
Right. But we're going to be talking about who should be here, who shouldn't be here. Should we get rid of people? It's going to be all those conversations.
Too evil. $199. Appreciate you, bro.
Unless we just start to see something change. And at this point, like, I hope what Kevin O'Connell was saying today was the truth. I hope he's going to start trying to change things. I mean, way too little, way too late. But we just have to start seeing some things change. Otherwise, the noise is only going to get louder. And it's just frustrating, man. Like, I hate to do this. I
did a mock yesterday.
The ranks of just dogging on O'Connell, but as of late, like I said, especially if you haven't, go watch that Kurt Warner video. That's everybody. Like, if you haven't, go watch that, because it is really eye-opening about how just this offense is not putting him in good spots. And you're expecting him to be able to go through these reads fast enough, and he's just not doing it. And there's just too much for him to do. Like, just bare bones it, give him one or two plays at the line of scrimmage, maybe a pass play with a check to a run, or the other way around, and just go. So I don't know. We'll see. But it needs to get better, and it needs to get better fast.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But again, not out on McCarthy yet. I do still think
it's too early. You should never be out on anybody this early.
But I mean, in order for him to get where he needs to go, Kevin O'Connell needs to be better in his role as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Tons of stuff. I mean, we need to see progression from JJ McCarthy. We need to see progression from Kevin O'Connell.
And they're going to go hand in hand. We will start to see progression from McCarthy when O'Connell starts to just put him in better spots
and make him confident. And that's another good thing. That's one positive, though. And this is going to be really telling, is that at least this is a tough year with tough matchups. But if there is a stretch that is a little bit not as hard, it's these next three games. Obviously, Dallas is stepping up, but their defense still hasn't been great. Dallas, Giants, Washington, kind of just mid-tier defenses overall. So you do get some teams to kind of, hopefully, if there's a time for your offense to play their best ball of the year, which is low expectations, and I can't say it can't get any worse, because we said that already, and somehow it got worse. But if there's time to see our offense do something, it's going to be these next 3 weeks. So hopefully we see some progression there. Hopefully JJ, it bothers me so much, but this week I'm like, I just need to see JJ McCarthy looking confident out there. That's like my number one thing at this point, probably for the rest of the season. Otherwise, you are definitely going to have to make some big decisions.
Yeah, I mean, yay, Vikings football. It's great. But anyway, anything else from you?
Not really. Not really, man.
Just ugly stuff. First shutout.
We'll be on Thursday to talk about how the Vikings are going to whoop on that Washington team. But no, we'll see. And obviously, they're also having a tough time. Jaden Daniels, I know it sounds like people are thinking that there's a good chance that he could play this week, but he's just starting to practice. I don't know. So we might see him. I don't know.
I think they said it's more or less, can he take a hit? That's kind of where they're at. Like, he can throw the ball well, but it's like, is he going to be able to get out there and just take real game reps?
Well, he's going to need one with the way Dallas Turner's playing. That's what, if I'm going to be like, circle that matchup.
Absolutely. But anyway, thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. Obviously, a bit of a downer, but therapeutic. Got to be able to get those thoughts out there, and it's frustrating. I mean, there's really no other way around it. Like, it's just a frustrating season where nothing has gone well, and we're leaving the season no matter what happens with more questions than answers, and those will be answered soon after the season's over. But we still got some time till we get there, and we just got to hope that we just see something to make us all feel a little bit better. Otherwise, it'd be
offense.
Otherwise, it'd be a lot of alcohol consumed this offseason for us.
Already a lot of consumed this regular season.
Yeah, but thank you guys so much. Thursday, we'll look forward to the game against who are we playing? Washington at home. Yeah, we'll talk about it. But anyway, thank you guys so much. See you next time.
School Vikes.